Welcome to Georgia Focus. I'm Scott Kimbler. The University of North Georgia has grown quite a bit since it was first founded. UNG and the related Military College of Georgia have a long, rich history in the state and has grown from its main campus in Dahlonega to 4 other campuses. Our John Clark sat down with head of the school's Corps of Cadets to learn more.
Well, Colonel, it's good to be here in Dahlonega today at the Military College of Georgia. And it's interesting how you're part of the University of North Georgia. Talk about that relationship as it relates to what you do at the college here.
Okay. I'm Colonel Joe Matthews. I'm the Commandant of Cadets here at the University of North Georgia. And the unique relationship of a senior military college here at the University of North Georgia is we have a Corps of Cadets. So every day on this campus, you'll see part of the student body wearing a cadet uniform. And a Corps of Cadets means that, in our case, the student body of about 700 cadets on a daily basis lives in a military lifestyle or military disciplined, uniformed lifestyle from the time they get up in the morning until the time they go to bed at night. That part of the experience here at University of North Georgia makes it a unique learning environment where the cadets get to learn how to be leaders in a military environment, but at the same time, because this campus is also 7,000 other students, they get to interact in a civilian environment at the same time. So I think they develop more leadership skills and more interactive problem-solving, relationship-building skills that you would not get at solely a service academy where it was military 24/7.
Right. And the military component of it, what is it like on a daily basis? And do they go to classes, obviously, but do they do something from a military standpoint on a daily basis? I know just a regular day, but do they do certain military training or something?
Yes, they do. Yeah. So the cadets will wake up between 06 and 06:15 in the morning. And on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, most of the cadets will do physical training. A certain level of cadet are junior academically. Those cadets who are seeking a commission in the U.S. Army, Army National Guard, or Army Reserve will also do physical training on Tuesdays and Thursdays because those junior cadets are preparing to go to an evaluation in the summertime called Advanced Camp or Summer Camp at Fort Knox. That's the first part of the military day, so waking up in the morning. Putting on your physical training uniform, conducting physical training. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, those cadets that are not doing physical training, the ones that are not juniors, they are standing by for inspections with a uniform on, or they are conducting cadet professional development classes in the morning. And all of this is done really before 8 o'clock in the morning, and then they go to class and go to breakfast. Now, they don't march to class and they don't march to breakfast. They're pretty much released for the rest of the day to conduct either military training, academic classes, go to breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And for most cadets, after 5 p.m., they'll change into civilian clothes. Freshmen, for their first semester, we try to encourage them to wear the uniform properly, so they have to wear their uniform for the entire first semester. They don't get to change into civilian clothes.
Right.
Those are some of the military activities. On Monday afternoons, the cadets get to participate in what's called a leadership lab from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. And that leadership lab is really practical application of what they've learned in their military science class. One of the unique things about being in the Corps of Cadets is every cadet has to take a military science class. So freshmen, military science 1, sophomores, military science 2, and so on, military science 3 for juniors and military science 4 for seniors. And they take those classes 2 days a week. And in those classes, they're learning about cadet leadership. They're learning about military values. They're learning really about the basics of the Army over those 4 years. And then they get to take what they learn in the classroom and practically apply it on Monday afternoon labs.
Right.
And the last thing I would tell you is that on Wednesdays, unique to our junior class of cadets, they also have another lab that afternoon that we call Leadership Development Program, or LDP. Sometimes we call it pre-camp because it's training to go to summer camp.
Okay.
But that Wednesday afternoon for about 2 to 3 hours, they get to apply leadership lessons and training from their military science 3 instructors.
Right.
So they get to actually practice being a platoon leader, a squad leader, a platoon sergeant every week.
Cadet Colonel Walker, let's talk about your experience here. Where are you from originally?
So originally I'm from Cumming, Georgia. Well,
Okay, just down the road.
just down the road, but originally from Lakeland, Florida. Moved there, moved to Cumming when I was about 10, and then I've been there ever since. So.
What made you want to come to school here and seek a military career?
So I always wanted to seek a military career, but I never really knew I wanted to be an officer. So the University of North Georgia, they had some recruiters visit who told me about the Georgia Military Scholarship. So I didn't end up going the Georgia Military Scholarship route, but they did open me up to the other scholarships that were at the University of North Georgia. So currently I'm on a 3-year ROTC scholarship, which is a little different. And that's kind of what put me here and has driven me to complete my degree here and commission in May.
So what will you do? What's your future plans in May?
So future plans, I won't know exactly until November 30th, but I'm planning to commission active duty in the infantry branch.
Okay. And they send you to a certain location, whether it's, whatever, Fort Benning or something like that?
Right, exactly. So once you graduate, you'll be given a date for your BULLOC, which is your basic officers leadership course. And that's pretty much job training for whatever your branch is going to be. Right. So for, I think, about 3 to 6 months, depending on which branch it is, you'll complete training, and then you'll be sent to your first duty station after that.
Talk about your rise to cadet colonel. That's pretty high. It's the highest rank here, I would think, for a cadet. So talk about that.
So in my first semester, I spent as recruit and then private after that. Really didn't do much that year. And then my second year here, my sophomore year, I spent time as a training NCO over an Echo company, and then later as a PSG in Echo company. So I spent my entire sophomore year in Echo. And a unique thing about Echo is that's our commuter company. So it's a different experience having a leadership position there. And that was kind of one of the things that I carried with me to my board, and they seemed to like that. So I ended up getting an RA position in the form of Operations Sergeant Major. So Brigade Operations Sergeant Major for my junior year. Carried that role through my entire senior year, or my entire junior year, which led me to where I'm at now in my senior year.
Colonel, the experiences of Cadet Colonel Walker, this is typical, I'm sure, of many cadets here. This is what their career path is, to seek to go into the military. Yes,
that's what makes a Corps Cadets experience unique compared to just an Army ROTC experience at any university. In the Corps Cadets, every cadet gets the opportunity from day one to learn leadership and then to apply it in a leadership position. So between a cadet's freshman and sophomore year, they're learning about the Army, the Corps Cadets. And at the end of their freshman year, they can go to the Cadet Basic Leader course. And that's just a 1-week course, but really it's the practical application of how to be a squad leader, which is really the smallest formation in the Corps Cadets. That squad leader then is in charge of 6 to 8 cadets during their sophomore year. So now we take that theory of leadership and we practically apply it in their sophomore year. Most senior military colleges do not make leaders of their sophomores. It's really not till your junior year that you get a leadership position. So in North Georgia, we're unique. We want you to practice being a leader as much as you can, because it's only there with fellow cadets that you can learn your leadership style, you can learn how to care about people, you can learn what's truly important, and how to communicate, which is probably a big key to being a leader. Between their sophomore and junior year, every cadet gets the opportunity to apply to be what we call a senior non-commissioned officer, or as Colonel Walker mentioned, an RA. RA is just an abbreviation for resident assistant. So we have 9 companies in the Corps Cadets. Each one of those 9 companies is led by a company commander and by a first sergeant. So that first sergeant is a junior year position. That first sergeant's a highly coveted, highly competitive position, because if you think about it, that's about 200 juniors, and only 9 of them get that position. Now, as a first sergeant, you're in charge of a company of almost 88 cadets. And now, the benefit of that is that you get to lead every day. I mean, you are where the rubber meets the road, and it's an exciting, challenging position. In your senior year, you can then again go before a board and compete to be a company commander, a battalion commander, or the brigade commander. So those positions, then now you're really applying your leadership into a larger formation, and you're learning not just direct leadership, but you're also learning supervisory leadership or indirect influence on larger formations. All that being said, it's a great learning laboratory over 4 years to hopefully produce the best second lieutenants that we could possibly produce for the Army National Guard, and the Army Reserve. That is what I would call the kind of the secret sauce of what makes good officers or great leaders, because of the Corps Cadets and the University of North Georgia experience.
You yourself went here to
Yes.
you were telling me earlier to
Yes.
The Military College of Georgia, and now you've come full circle.
Yeah.
You were a colonel, you retired from the Army, and here you are the Commandant. Talk about your experience and how's it changed from when you were here.
Well, I can tell you, number one, I'm very blessed to be the Commandant of Cadets. I mean, I never could I have imagined in 1990, when I was a freshman going through Frog Week, that I would end my Army career after 25 years, retire, and come back to the place where I started, but really the place that helped really form my understanding of what a true leader is, what a caring leader does, what it takes to really go the extra effort to help people succeed. Mm-hmm. And I will tell you, as a cadet here, what's unique is, or what's familiar is, it's the same learning leadership environment. We still do what we say and we mean what we do. It is still hands-on leadership. We took a calculation a few years ago and said, over a 4-year period, every cadet has the opportunity to experience over 2,400 hours of leadership experience. I mean, that's amazing when you think about it. And I will tell you, just like back in the 90s, that is similar today, where every cadet is afforded that opportunity.
You can learn more about UNG, its campuses, people, and opportunities for you at ung.edu. This has been Georgia Focus. Join us again next week on this same station. I'm Scott Kimbler with the Georgia News Network.